Shred Nation! This is episode 21, and that means that Shred Show is now old enough to drink in the United States. So we're celebrating on the surface of this giant snowball. We really want to know what you think about this episode because we're talking about a very different kind of surfboard from a very different kind of shaper. So tell us your thoughts in the comments below. Hello and welcome to Shred Show. I am your host Chris Grow, and today is a very special surprise episode where I hope you will give me permission to talk about something a little bit strange. The thing about making all these videos is that it is just like surfing. You've got to switch it up, surf a different spot, try a different board. Making these Shred Show episodes is no different. Sometimes I just need to switch it up and talk about something different from the norm. If this is your first time watching Shred Show, we talk about surfboards, and we sometimes talk about things that aren't really surfboards. If you like the video, click like. If you really like the video, click favorite. And if you want to say hi, do so in the comments below or on Twitter at Chris Grow. If you've seen the Quicksilver video moments, you have seen Dane Reynolds surfing a soft top. You may have also seen the Red Bull video of Jamie O'Brien surfing a soft top surfboard at Pipeline. Any videos I talk about in this video, I'll be linking up below, so check that out. My first experience on a soft top surfboard was on an INT board that my friend's little brother took on a surf trip that we went on to Mexico nearly a decade ago. I had a ton of fun screwing around on it towards the end of our trip, surfing one of the right-hand point breaks down there. It was totally just a fun little fresh experience, but this is not your average soft top surfboard. This was designed by Tom Wegener, who was the Surfing Magazine Shaper of the Year in 2009. He's been living in Noosa Heads, Queensland, Australia for over a decade. He's originally from California. Tom Wegener is credited with being responsible for the Alaya resurgence that's happened some years ago. If you've seen people like Rob Machado, Tom Carroll, Tom Curran, and Dave Rostovich surfing Alayas in the past 4 or 5 years, most likely those were Tom Wegener's Alayas. He had a very interesting shaping journey that led him to creating those interesting boards out there in Noosa Heads. And I'm going to link up a video below of him giving a presentation about his remarkable shaping journey. Alaya surfboards are what the ancient Hawaiians used to surf, and they're notoriously fun for their speed, slide, and glide, but they're also famously difficult to paddle. Essentially, if you've ever surfed an Alaya, you know that you're pretty much just swimming in the ocean with a barely floating piece of wood beneath you. That makes those very hard to surf for even average surfers, and probably only about 4 or 5% of the people that ever try an Alaya ever get really good at surfing them. What this board aims to do is bring that slide, glide feeling to surfing in a package that is much more buoyant so that most surfers can really get a feel for what it's like surfing an Alaya without having to put in all the effort that it takes to learn how to paddle them properly and get into waves. I've been lucky enough to surf one of these boards recently. It's been a lot of fun, it's been incredibly strange, and let's jump right into our discussion of it. Most surfers can understand the construction of this board really simply. We're going to start off by talking about the rocker. There isn't any! Pretty much there's just a flip up here in the nose to keep you from digging when you're dropping in, and other than that, this board is just flat because it's built for speed. It's going to move forward quickly because of the absence of rocker, which slows the board down if it's extreme because water has to travel the entire length of that rocker. The real magic of this board happens on the bottom. Bottom contours of this board are very similar to the John Wegener Bluegill surfboard. It's a board that looks very similar to this on the bottom, but it has 2 very small Paulownia fins out here on the end. The bottom contours of this board are totally centered around giving you some sort of grip on the wave, some sort of hold on the wave so that you can turn a little bit as you're sliding. And turning one of these boards is really fun because you really feel these bottom contours in here as you're turning. You can feel yourself sliding through turns like this, and you can feel this little edge right here. If you can see that, there's this aggressive concave right here, this bevel that comes out towards the rails right here, and you really feel this edge when you're surfing this board. The concave is interesting because it essentially starts right up here, which is very late in the nose. We can actually see that this board has got a belly on it up here. You can see that I'm rocking this around right now, and what that does is it helps break up the water as we're moving forward. And another interesting thing about bellies on a surfboard when they're convex up here in the nose is that pushes water out of the way and helps the tail sink down more in the surfboard as it's moving forward because of the way that the nose is clearing water out of the path of the board moving forward. I think surfing boards like this are fun because they make you rethink your fins and they make you rethink the way that you surf. The first time I surfed this board, I had been surfing a regular surfboard for about 2 hours. I was pretty much done with the session and I was going to go in, but some friends paddled out. I decided to hang around for a little bit, and I grabbed this from my car. The first time I dropped in, it was a wonderfully different sensation, feeling the tail slide and drift as I was dropping in. It was very cool, totally different than what you experience on a board with fins. And Tom Wegener describes that feeling as the drifting sensation, like in Fast and Furious. If you've ever seen those cars in Fast and Furious drifting around tight turns like this, that's what you feel with one of these boards. The tail drifts, you're not moving straight, you're moving sideways. It's just a very interesting sensation. Given the construction of this board and the fact that it can double as a bodyboard, makes it really easy to give to your kids, give to your girlfriend to play with in the shore break, if your girlfriend's cool and she'll hang out on the beach while you surf, and then you can surf it on your own too. They say that you don't need wax on this kind of a deck, and you really don't, but I've actually been waxing it when I've been using the one I've been surfing, just because I'm used to wax. It's like traction pads, they tell you never to wax those too, but I always wax mine. If you've ever surfed the Seaglass Albacore by Tom Wegener, please tell us about your experience in the comments below. If you've ever surfed any similar boards, any Elias by Tom Wegener or his brother John, please tell us about those boards as well. And if you want to reminisce on all the fun that you've had on soft tops in the past, please tell us about those experiences in the comments below. We hope the waves are up wherever you are, and we really look forward to seeing you next episode. Shred Show!